How was it?
3, 2, 1, go.
3, 2, 1, go.
3, 2, 1, go.
3, 2, 1, go.
We are in.
All right,
We've got
Mitchell
Mabry tonight, folks.
All right, hello,
The one,
everybody.
the only.
What is up, Mitch?
Mitch, tell us about your life.
About my life. All right. Well, right now I am in school.
Start off broad. Start off
fourth
as
year.
broad as possible.
And then I'll get so minuscule about like my nightly routine and everything. No, I'm just kidding.
Great.
Yeah, I'm a fourth year at Ohio State. I'm going for English education, so I want to be a high school English teacher.
English.
Yeah. I'm home for the holidays. Have a really good time seeing all my family and stuff. Yeah, now I'm about ready to do this podcast with my good buddies. Thanks for the hospitality, Frank, too. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
What
it's been nice.
What made you do English? What grades too?
Well, I'm going to be secondary education, so that's grades 7 through 12. And it's kind of funny because I never really read at all when I was younger. Mm-hmm. But once I started getting, I think it was like my senior year of high school, actually junior year of high school, I just started reading more. And it just kind of grew from there, and especially with like my summer things like camp counseling and the thing I did at NOC in North Carolina. You just have a lot of free time. You don't have any cell phone service, so all I would do is like read. And even before that, I was just reading a lot. So now I have my own little library to where I think I have about 80 books now.
Wow.
Damn,
And
80 books.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
What do you like to read?
A lot of nonfiction. I mean, really, I like to read about anything. It's kind of funny. I even like sappy romance novels. I even kind of like, I'll read about anything that's thrown to me. Lately, what I've been doing is just going on Reddit and just typing in there's like subforums, and one of the pages is like the top 100 books that you must read in your lifetime. And like I've just been kind of going through there and kind of like picking books that seem interesting and reading those. And
Nice.
I haven't been disappointed yet.
Dude,
so.
I've been getting into a lot more reading now. I read a lot more history books because I just like history. But
Yeah.
I mean, awesome.
Dude, reading anything, and it's not like you have to sit down and read for 2 hours at a time. Reading anything is just so beneficial for your brain.
It
and
is,
like
yeah.
if you just look at it not as a chore and you're actually invested in it, it's awesome. I love it.
Helps organize. It helps you learn to organize your thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what's your favorite book then?
Good one. I just read, I don't know if I have exactly a favorite. My favorite author would be Charles Bukowski, which he's kind of like a nihilist. How do you say that word? Is it nihilist?
Nihilist.
Okay, yeah. And he's kind of like, people proclaim he's like a womanizer. And he kind of writes, have you guys ever read The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger?
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I've never read it yet.
Yeah, so it's all of his books are basically kind of like that. Like the plot is there is no really climax. It's all just like very monotone and like a linear plot. But just like the way he thinks about the world, I really like. My favorite book, Flowers for Algernon. Have you guys ever heard of that novel before? So it's about this guy who is mentally retarded, and they run some tests on him, and they have like this new medication to where it makes him not retarded, and it raises his IQ to like basically it just keeps on growing until he's like, I don't know, super genius. And yeah, it's a really interesting novel though, because it shows like how he develops from having an IQ of like 60 up to like 140, and then I'm gonna kind of ruin the book for you guys, but like it drops back down, and like you see that whole transition, so it's really cool. Yeah, I like it.
Very nice. That's sweet.
Spoiler alert, Mitchell.
Yeah, ruining everybody. Sorry, viewers.
What's that book called?
Flowers for Algernon. Yeah.
Flowers for Algernon.
What book got you started? Because everyone has that kind of like that one book. They're like, oh shit, like
Yeah.
this is my shit. I need this is better than TV.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you, to be honest. I mean, I remember like even in grade school, like reading Hatchet. That got me like really interested.
That's a good book.
Yeah, because it is, man. It's a really easy read at the time too, and yeah, I don't know if there's actually a book that really got me like super invested. I'm sure there was, but like I can't really.
What genre then?
I mean, really any. Like, I would just say nonfiction in general. I'm more, I'm not really into fiction. Like, one thing I would like to do is kind of read like the Harry Potter series and stuff because I've never
It's a classic.
really gotten into this. Yeah, for
is a
sure.
classic.
And everyone that reads them says it's amazing. Like, I've not
Unless
heard.
J.K. Rowling doesn't mess with them. Like, she changes all the characters. Like,
That's just after the fact fan fiction stuff, man.
dude, it's still weird.
Wait, she's changing characters?
Well, she's like, oh, Dumbledore's gay.
She just
Oh,
she
yeah.
says that
Those
because
kind of
people
things.
ask her
Yeah.
questions about that stuff all the time, just like the Star Wars fans. You know, they're always
Dude,
like,
now she's hated. She's getting attacked.
Is she really?
those books are damn good, dude.
Yeah.
They
that's a
are. They
fact.
are really good books.
mhm.
Oh, definitely.
That's a large time investment though. So like,
Dude,
yeah.
yeah.
So, like I read a lot, as for like pleasure when I'm not in school, but like as an English education major, so like half my course schedule is actual English classes, and then the other half is education classes. So I do enough reading, you know, like I would almost just wear myself out. But I always try to read a chapter a day. So like, yeah,
A chapter a day.
Yeah,
Nice.
if not more, at the
do you
very
have like
minimum.
you have like a time schedule? You kind of do it like at night, in the morning. Do you like wake up
always at night. Yeah,
always at night?
I have 3 things that I've been doing lately, actually. I read every day, even if it's just a chapter, because it's still reading, you know, it's still getting it in. I have this little app on my phone that is like a 10-minute yoga thing, and it has like 12 different, you know, like little exercises for you. Not exercises, but routines. So I've been doing that, trying every day.
Well, what's that app?
I couldn't tell you. I could tell you after it's on my phone, but yeah, it's really nice though because it tells you what to do and it's just really nice and relaxing. I've also been doing it because for rock climbing it helps to be like flexible, and you know yoga is like great for that. And another thing is I've been keeping a journal, which is honestly really cool because I'll
Definitely.
Absolutely,
Dude,
dude.
100%.
That'd be
That's-
sweet. Oh, yeah.
yeah, like I will. It's like I just kind of write down some of my thoughts and mostly like just what happens during that day and how I feel about it. And it's really cool to look back. Like this past semester, I just read all of my logs from this past semester, and it's like, man, I did like, it's really cool. Like looking back and kind of taking it all in, and yeah.
Probably slows down time a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of things in everyday life you have a tendency to forget, you know, just because
That's why you sleep.
Plus,
Yeah,
plus it's good.
yeah.
It's good just to like reflect on what your mind was that day. It helps.
Absolutely.
It helps you almost relax
Yeah.
because that's what I probably have. That's like most people that have anxiety. If they just started meditating, it would probably start going away.
Yeah, meditating. And if you just can't just sit there, just do yoga or something.
Oh,
That-
dude, it's
that'll-
not even that,
that'll-
dude. Just like meditating doesn't even have to be just sitting there. Like I do the same thing, but I do it in the morning. Like I'll wake up, I'll meditate, and then I'll read a little bit. But most people that are anxious, if they would just meditate, not even has to be sitting and doing nothing. It could be like I'll go and build something, and that like almost it just lets your conscious focus on a topic while your subconscious is kind of figuring out what everything else does.
You guys talked about that with Kyle a little bit. And
Yeah.
what I think you're looking for is the flow state. And you
Oh
probably
yeah,
know
the
that.
Taoist, the
Okay,
Taoist
yeah,
flow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when you rock climb, it's kind of like that. Today when we were playing East Ball, like it gets when you're playing.
When time passes by and you don't even really notice it.
Oh yeah, your subconscious is just at work. You're just flowing through it. It's fun.
100%
That's like
Oh yeah,
meditation.
that happened a lot of football, like games and basketball games. Like it just seemed so fast, and so yeah,
It is fast, but it's almost like it's
but it's
on
almost
autopilot.
like
Yeah.
yeah. But it's like it seems fast, but it's also slow. Like times, like it seems like slow motion. Like oh shit.
But I agree with your point, Frank, that I think a lot of people who take medication for anxiety, I think, okay, like some people do have extreme anxiety, and I think medication truly helps them, and they truly need that to like live their life to the fullest. And
I don't think I'm cut on that because I just really like to go with nature, and it's like if it's most of the time that anxiety is coming from something, because if you just threw one of them out in the middle of nowhere and said, all right, this is your life now, you just got to survive. Like your anxiety probably will go away, because most of the stuff that you realize is causing you anxiety is stuff that you could do away with, like social media or something like that.
for sure. But the fact of the matter is that life is not like that now, and we are dealing
definitely.
with so much.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah,
like it's not. I'm not saying people don't have to take medication for it. If you want to, yeah.
It helps a lot
Yeah.
of people.
Yeah.
But it also it's it's a complicated issue.
I think it's it'll be good to like it's almost like a starter, but you should wean off that medication. Find something that will help your anxiety, and then eventually go off of that medication.
To me,
if you need the medication.
To me, anxiety is something's usually anxiety is like impending doom. That's your body saying like, okay, something's going to go wrong, or you think something's going to go wrong. So I think it's almost like it's the same concept of regret, where it's like you don't want to confront whatever you're really causing that anxiety. It's like, oh, you don't have that job proposal done by a week, and you're like, it's going closer and closer.
Yeah.
So you get in this like stressful stage. Your body
As you
starts
should.
pumping out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just your body reacting, saying like, hey, dickhead, like, come on, you need to start like.
Yeah.
But that only goes so far, because I've definitely been around people who have like straight anxiety attacks in situations where there's nothing bad happening. You know, social anxiety is one of those things that I just find crazy.
Yeah. Mitch,
But they have it. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, and that's most of the time you can really not push to not have that happen later in life is just it's like exposing yourself as a little kid, getting exposed to a wide variety.
Because then after you get done with it, hopefully you can reflect and say, wow, nothing bad happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's mostly where the social anxiety comes from. Like, social anxiety is literally your body reacting to an environment that something's in that environment that you feel is threatening. And that's what anxiety is, always something that's gonna, like, you think something is gonna attack you. It's like what's bred into your every generation is throughout history had something that caused that anxiety.
Some people actually have like a chemical issue where their body's not functioning properly, and so medication is supposed to help.
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the same thing with depression. Some people who have depression, it's because of
It's an imbalance.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an imbalance.
Depression, though, I feel like you're playing with fire, because it's like a lot of the times people could become depressed is because something has diminished their dopamine, serotonin, and
it's a natural
norepinephrine
reaction
levels.
to things.
Well, I'm not just saying
so
that,
is anxiety,
like-
but they kind of go hand in hand, right?
I don't see. That's the thing. It's like if you stop your body from, like, say if you're a drug user or something, and you stop your body from that, then it's going to cause this reaction.
Yeah, but that's just like drug user things. A lot of people who don't do drugs.
What about people that are obese or something, and you're hungry, and you don't want your body's pushing you to.
That's very true.
That's
and you
one
shouldn't
thing.
be really.
Are you eating correctly? Are you healthy? Like,
Or look at the little
clean
kids.
up a
Look
lot.
at the little kids. Like, if they're not allowed to play on their Xbox or whatever, they get like an addiction. It's like almost like they have an addiction.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's
Little
what's
kids are
causing
funny.
that.
Though, like Stolly was just talking about, he coaches second graders.
These are primitive. It's
Second and third
primal.
graders, dude. Yeah, dude, those guys are.
It's all primal, dude.
It's really cool when you teach them.
Oh yeah.
To see the progress that's happening. It's super cool to
Because
see
of
the
how
progress
fast
on
they
that.
progress.
Yeah, it's awesome. But there's still some kids just like out in La La Land, like like during basketball, just like looking at pictures or like singing or like poking each other.
Maybe a hard time focusing.
Very hard time focusing. But
Dude, that's the thing though, like with the medication for like ADHD and stuff, when I worked at the summer camp up in Michigan, I could not believe how many kids were medicated.
Dude, it's because kids just can't focus.
do they?
No, they don't want to. They don't want to.
But
What
yeah,
kid
they don't
wants
want
to. What kid
normal
wants
kid
to
shit.
focus on the craft?
It's because there's so much stuff out there that they're looking at all the time that they can't focus because
A lot of it's new experiences as well. You know, like they're so young. I believe it's just a natural thing. And at that camp, I don't want to even make a guesstimate on how many kids were actually on Adderall or Ritalin, whatever it may be. But I bet there was 2 kids at that camp that I think truly needed medication. But all the rest of them, I bet I don't know, man. I feel like their parents, they're just taking the easy way out.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you when you're going through the schooling and becoming learning how to be a teacher, do they teach you like how to deal with people with anxiety, like kids with anxiety or like depression or something? Do they kind of like have like classes, or do they have like some kind of training maybe?
Yeah, they mention it. However, I think that's more supposed to be like the school counselor's job. But I mean, really, that's kind of bullshit because we're the ones who are actually. Like,
exactly.
Like,
I never even talked to the school counselor when I was in.
Exactly. School. Like I feel like school counselors for me, especially in like high school and stuff, when most of the stuff's going on, they're just mainly like trying to get you into colleges and stuff. Like not actually, but no, to be honest, most of my education classes are based off of like minorities and inclusion and intersectionalism and all that
minorities
stuff.
And stuff like that.
Yeah,
like diversity.
I feel like teaching you
that sounds awful.
Student counselor stuff would be more helpful than learning stuff like that.
That sounds literally awful.
You're saying that's most of it?
Like in my education courses, yes, I will show you the syllabus of my past like 10 education courses, not my English courses, because I said they're split 50-50.
That's like teaching you to indoctrinate.
Yeah, well, I think it is important because, especially like with the way school funding works, it's very corrupt because basically white schools, schools that are a majority white kids get a lot more funding, and it's all set up by like property taxes.
It's property value. So if you're in a nice neighborhood, property value is way high. School has a lot more money.
Mm-hmm. And there can even be a huge difference with like schools that are 2 miles apart from each other, like up in like Staten Island.
Yeah, but how do you solve that?
You change the way the schools are funded potentially. Mm-hmm. But I think now they're making a move to where like if you're in a high property value area, some of the funding for your school goes to the lower income to one.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is why we need more charter schools.
Charter schools, like private schools?
Yeah. There's a lot of people against charter schools too, but
what are the pros and cons, Mitch? What do you think?
I honestly, Frank, do you know more about charter schools? Because I honestly don't know a ton about them.
It lets capitalism instead of a state-ran thing.
Mm-hmm. But then poor kids still can't afford it, man.
Well,
not necessarily. I mean, look at LeBron James' high school he just opened.
Is it for poor kids?
Well, I mean, it's just like he opened his own high school and he gave like a lot of kids scholarships for it. Like you can fund those, you can fund the poor, but it's just like
LeBron giving back to the community, man. That's
but how do you? What else are you supposed to do then? Do you only allow like everyone has to go to one school? Is that what you do?
I mean, there's going to be disparity just because the quality of teachers isn't always going to be the same.
But I don't think money. I think throwing money at it won't just solve the problem.
Throwing money at things never works.
I
don't think it works
throw money,
in some situations. I think that there's a whole lot of structural issues within education. Mm-hmm. To me, going through what we experienced in high school, that's really the only time I ever thought about it. But there were definitely some teachers there who were just not as good as other ones.
Oh yeah,
they weren't as good, and some of them weren't even trying.
Yeah, but what are you supposed to do about that?
You're supposed to fire the ones that suck, dude. Yeah. There's plenty of guys like Mitch who could need a job.
Yeah.
But you can't because they're on unions.
Mm-hmm. That's the problem. When you're pushing for like more federal funding or whatever, more government, that's more government, more unions.
Yeah, but that's
you have to join unions.
Semi-separate from government, I would say.
Well, the problem is it's not a meritocracy anymore. Meritocracy being whoever's the best would be the teacher or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Natural selection.
Now it's who do you know, or somebody helps you get into it or whatever.
It does seem like it's a little like that.
Yeah, it is.
I think one of the main problems is that teachers they're just not as valued as much as they should be.
Dude, I disagree completely. To me, there are very few people. Maybe it's just my thought, and I'm just expecting everyone else to think this way, but teachers are the future, You get a good teacher, like everyone's had a good teacher. Yeah. That changes your life.
It does.
Like shit.
Yeah, I don't think they get the recognition this is like, nobody goes into education for the pay, but like, man, a lot of teachers struggle out there to make ends meet, That's
especially
why
starting ones.
That's why out in California, like there's a huge teacher shortage because they just can't, with the cost of living and everything, they can't, cover. A lot of them are getting like second jobs and stuff. And with being a teacher, that's crazy. So
absurd. You're saying they're not getting like enough pay, they're not getting enough credit, or they get not almost appraisal.
I think pay is a big thing. Just for example, so like a lot of like one reason why I want to go teach overseas after I graduate is because I guess like over in Southeast Asia, their teachers, I guess, are like way.
It's a meritocracy. Meaning that, like, that's why that's the other benefit of private schools is the best teachers get paid the most money.
Well, and
because that's like
they probably teach to teach, not teach the test.
Well, yeah,
Like,
and that's the other
test.
that's the other problem is that now there's so much structure around it. There's no freedom, and so it's like everyone has to conform to this certain way to do it, and so everyone only gets the same amount of money.
Yeah,
everything's really generalized.
And the idea is to bring the bottom up. No student left behind, which in principle, I think there's a good...
I think it starts at the home.
On paper, it sounds good. It makes you feel good.
And
but
the
idea sounds good, but in logic, it doesn't work because not everyone has it. And some people have it, some people don't. A
lot of people don't want
natural
it.
Selection.
A lot of them don't want it.
Yeah, a lot of them don't want it. Exactly, yeah.
I think the problem is not more school or whatever. It's the problem is that the homes. And at the home, it's not... Now it's not, because that's where a lot of where are we talking about the places that could get more funding is a lot of inner cities, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's like, if you look at that, single motherhood in inner cities is greatly higher than everywhere else. And it's like, that's a problem at home. And that's like, we need to figure out, that's almost like a bigger societal problem. Like, what is
I would bet that changes over time.
I bet
think
it does
that the culture seems to be changing. If you look at people that hopefully those kids are looking up to, I think a lot of those guys are stepping up and supporting things like being a good father.
Good.
You listen to like J. Cole rap, some of his, there's a lot of rappers taking that stance on stuff, and I think that should help. And because society's so worked up about it, so I hope it does. I think it will.
I hope so too. That'll make this world so much better.
I think that's one thing a kid should have.
But it won't help for everybody. There's still going to be kids who have rough situations, and hopefully maybe some teachers can fill the gap.
Oh, yeah. But I'm just saying it's like we're looking at a problem that has its roots somewhere deeper. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. We're trying to get Bill Sell or
June Scott
on the podcast at some point. That'd be super fun.
That'd be sweet.
June Scott.
This is what we want to talk about, stuff like this.
Yeah, June Scott was literally like the main, like if I had to credit a teacher for, like me choosing my career path, it'd be June Scott. Just because
I bet he's that way for many.
Oh, I imagine.
Well, I learned so much from him.
And not only that, when I came in his class, there's two things. One was that he truly cared for my well-being, and that he equally trued for everybody, every student in his classes, like in his class well-being. It doesn't matter if you were like, the popular kid or the goth kid, or like it did not matter to him one bit.
Right.
Like everybody was the same, and he truly cared, and yeah, it was awesome, and it showed because people loved his class, and everyone contributed.
I think everyone should be like that, not just teacher. Not like That's the crazy thing. It's like everyone should really like strive to be like that.
Absolutely,
it just makes the world a better place.
Yeah.
Because we're all in this together.
We are.
We all might as well suffer together. It's like help each other not suffer as much.
Yeah.
So what, like from your classism, diversity, and all this stuff, what is your sort of definition of diversity, and like what do you think of those classes, and what are they teaching you?
Okay, so basically I think that what like the kind of the general idea is that they want us to represent our minority students within the classroom. So like if you are living in Texas and you have a high Hispanic population within your town, and a lot of your students are Hispanic, then they want you to like kind of represent them in the curriculum so they feel involved. Because like right now they say that all of our curriculum is basically just like based upon like white culture and stuff, which I do think is important to a certain point, but I've taken so many classes on it that it's kind of like pushing it to the limit.
What's the point of teaching? It's like, well, what else?
Is that supposed to help them learn better?
Yeah,
well, that's the thing. It helps them exactly. It basically just helps them.
But what's the point of teaching? What else would we teach them? Like how Mexico became like. That's what I mean.
Wait, what is making it different? Like how are they trying to teach it different?
Okay, so like Cinco de Mayo, like they would like almost acknowledge like stuff like that,
Didn't we celebrate?
Yeah, we celebrated that.
Yeah. Bro, we celebrated Pi Day.
I know.
True.
Yeah. Dude, my thought on it is just like, who cares? Like as long as they want to learn, because that's the biggest thing. It's like you can't force someone to learn.
Yeah. And a part of me with the whole race topic is that like the more that people talk about it, it seems like the more
It makes it worse.
Yeah, like it's almost, and then there almost comes a point to where there can be like a reverse racism.
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely.
And I think we're leaning that way, and a lot of things like teachers and the schooling, a lot of colleges. When I took English classes, bro, I was sick of it because all it was racism, this, minorities, that, sexism, all this. And I was just like, I understand the stuff's going on. I understand at some point it is an issue, but to be shoving this down my throat all the time is like,
dude. And the other thing about it is like, it's forcing the voice of it could be like 500,000 people in the population, and it's like forcing their thought process on the rest of everyone else, that's the weird thing to me.
I think it's important. I think the best part about diversity is we all have different thoughts and everything. I wish they'd highlight the good parts of it.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Way more.
That's the thing about diversity. They're just making it like religious and culture.
Well, it's turning into a cult. Really,
diversity is everyone. Everyone's diverse from everyone. Everyone's different from everyone. That's what I think.
And that's what makes us all the same in a way. It's like we're all one. It doesn't matter where you come from. Like, is that not so hard to preach? Be a good person. Like,
well, to me, it's just like you shouldn't. To me, it's kind of pushing down. It's like you shouldn't be proud of your heritage, and it's like.
If it's the wrong one.
Well, if it's the wrong one. And it's like everyone should be proud of their forefathers. Their forefathers are the reason why they're here today. Like, doesn't matter where you came from.
I'd say
you have lived past a lot of other bloodlines that have completely died out because the person was too dumb. Like, your genes live on.
It's I think it's good, and I think most people would agree praising your culture is a good thing, no matter whether you're white, black, or brown, or whatever it is.
And I think everyone should, you should embrace everyone's culture. It's like
there's good parts of all of them.
Like the Japanese want people to be dressed in kimonos and whatever, all that jazz, because they want people to learn about
dangerous.
Yeah, and there's actually been a lot of firebacks. So like the Washington Redskins, for example, and there's been a lot of hate from like Native Americans for like white girls who will go out and dress up as like an Indian girl for Halloween.
Is it really the Native Americans getting mad about it? If you look at the root of that, I'm
He's
90% of. I mean, I'll bet I could look it up. But I'm guessing a lot of it
on some level.
There's probably just someone like, oh look, I can.
Are you just
get some arousal out of this one?
It's some white girl sitting in her basement.
Yeah, just like that one.
Those guys are mean against Native Americans, and Native Americans never even saw it or whatever.
But it has a following because I'm learning about it in class. Like at Ohio, like I'm learning about it. So
just like that one huge story of the girl wearing some Chinese dress or something for her prom, and like they're like, you can't wear that. That's our culture. Like, she's just wearing a dress for prom.
She thought it was pretty.
Yeah, she thought it was pretty. Like, that's a nice.
Honestly, yeah. And I don't think white girls who are going out and dressing up as Indians for Halloween or
trying to be racist.
Look. Yeah. This is about the Washington Redskins name, and they did a poll. This is the Washington Post. But no, both polls found 9 out of 10 Native Americans were not offended by the team's name.
All right.
That's what I mean. Yeah. It's like you look at it 90% of the time. I'm 90% sure.
Yeah, you said that.
and that's exactly where the case where talking about race is just making things worse.
Exactly.
And just causing that tension. Exactly. At some level.
I think the main problem is like it's forcing an ideology. Where it's like not everyone that's not a mainstream ideology. It's like God is somewhat of a mainstream ideology. Like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people worship God.
Dude, a lot of people get fired up about that stuff too.
Yeah, and they're pushing out of everything. Like you can't say God in anything anymore.
And that's what I mean. It's like you government shouldn't. I don't think government should exist to solve moral corundums. Like it's like these moral problems.
Only the most serious of the moral problems, killing each other.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like the laws that are in place right now.
No.
I think
not the laws that are in place right now, but like the main ones.
That's like the.
Well, there are. I mean, there are laws that are pretty retarded, but.
No, yeah.
There's still a lot of laws right now that are.
It's like the abortion deal. It's like I don't think it should even the government should even it shouldn't even just be a law. Like that's I think it's I think it's somewhat wrong. I get it why I get both sides of the argument, but it's like I don't think that the government should even be
Yeah,
I think it should personal. It's a completely personal.
Yeah. And like who you're allowed to marry. Like you can the government shouldn't say who you're allowed marrying at all.
It's like it should be just open. Like I don't think there should be a law saying like, oh, now they can do. It's like no, I thought people should have been able to do it already. Like
those are personal choices.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. See, in the whole race thing, we're 4 white dudes. I wish we had someone else who, like a black man or, just like, an Indian woman in here just to kind of give their opinion on it. But
get their side of it.
Yeah.
Dude, but doesn't it feel so racist if you ever go up to someone and be like, hey, what do you think about this race issue? Like for me, I would almost never go up to someone and say something like that.
It's because you've been trained. You've been trained to be scared of it.
I feel like me talking to them by itself is racist because I am scared.
Because you've been trained to think that. That's like a societal brainwashing to me.
Dude,
you should want to talk about it. Like that's the only way to really solve problems without violence is talking about
one of the few interactions I've ever had with a black person. Like I had black friends and like we talk and hang out and stuff. Play basketball, stuff like that. But my first one as a kid coming from Salina, I went to Chicago. And this was terrible. It was right during Black Lives Matter. So I was like, I was in high school.
Things were getting heated.
Yeah, so people were fired up. And like, I guess a cop beat up some black dude or something. And people were pissed off about it. So there's protests going on in the streets of Chicago. And I was walking through. And I'm walking through, no big deal. And I'm just like looking at everything. Enjoying the city, never been there before. And a black dude comes in front of me and he's got a protester shirt on. And he said, you got a minute to talk about whatever was going on, And I was like, oh, no, man, I'm just walking through the day. And he looked at me in the face and said, oh, I see where you stand.
Wow.
And I was like, fuck, like, come on, man. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to, I'm just trying to enjoy the day.
That is bullying. That is bullying.
And I was like,
that is pushing an ideology.
Yeah. And so.
That's why I say it's a cult.
It scarred me in a way.
And that's why I say it's a cult because it's like, oh, it's either you believe our way or it's like, get out of the way.
But the thing is, it's awesome how passionate they are, but like they do take it.
You know what I mean?
They do want the world to be a better place. I just think there's better places where you can make it better. I don't think that's the biggest issues we're facing. It's an issue.
Dude, we've raised like 1 billion people out of poverty in like the 20th century. Like 1 billion people. I think like, yeah. And I think that's like America doesn't even matter where. I think I was reading this article about it. It was like 0.004% of the population was actually below the international poverty line.
Which is
because of the programs that are already in place, like welfare and food stamps, whatever. Like, and that's America's right now. If you really want to do it, you can do it. This is America still. The American dream is not dead. But it's like, we should focus on other countries. We should try to get everyone up on their feet. Like, because if everyone's doing it, if everyone's trying to further mankind, then it goes a lot faster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you're saying we should focus less on the U.S. and focus more on the world?
I'm thinking we should focus on, we should get everyone at the same time. We should all and I'm not saying the U.S. supports everyone. Like it gives them everyone money. Like, oh, no, I'm saying we at the same time as Europe and every country in Europe and Russia and everyone all says to each other like, hey, let's just stop the bullshit. Well, like
the bullshit's not there because they want it to be bullshit. It's there because people disagree on major things.
I know,
greed, especially at the top. There's people controlling things that are in it for their own self-interest rather than their public's, or even if they think they're doing it for their public interest, and those disagree with whatever someone else is doing.
No,
so that
that's right. I'm saying that to end the alliances. Like, because so many of these alliances in place right now are the reason why we don't trade with Russia or whatever. Like, OPEC is the reason why we don't trade with a lot of Russia.
It's big money, man.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's a lot of it. We became like the world economy has caused us to become very greedy instead, and now we've expanded
in the U.S. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's like we need to focus on get everyone just up on their feet. And it's just like you said, it's hard too because it's a few, and I hate to say it's like a few people that have a lot of the money, and I hate to say that because it's like it's like anti-libertarian.
Yeah. Because they were the best at it.
Yeah.
But they cheated. They lied.
Exactly.
Probably. I bet every single billionaire cheated and lied.
I heard a saying: if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. I don't know. But
You heard
Especially
that
in
from Kyle.
business.
yeah, it was Kyle. Yeah.
No,
Ain't
but
cheating,
it's
ain't
like
trying.
I'm saying it's cheating. Like you're gaining funds at the expense of like a war or something like that. You know what I mean?
At the expense of a war or lives
this is the
sicknesses.
scale we're talking about. This is the amount of money. This is the people we're talking about. And it's like a lot of the times is the reasons why they make a lot of money is at the expense of a war. Like where sometimes millions of lives could be lost.
Isn't that how we got out of the Great Depression? Was World War?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, World War II.
It fires up the economy, man, because everyone's working.
Yep.
There's less jobs because half the people are over fighting, they're giving their lives. So
Well, dude,
demand for jobs is way higher.
We had
There's more money to go around.
Well, they started. See, the problem was a lot of people try to push with the socialist programs of the 30s and helped push us out, including with the war. And it's like, dude, we started hitting I'm fairly sure we had like 3 depressions in the 30s, 3 recessions, where like the social welfare programs were taking too much money. And it's like the money wasn't. Inflation was skyrocketing, and then the war gave us something to unite with.
Yeah.
And
They
made the bankers bigger. Like if we would have just if there wasn't the war,
more
I guarantee you
millionaires
there wasn't
and
to be a
billionaires
top.
are made during time of war
Yeah.
than any other time.
I guarantee
you can
you
read stats on it. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, just like how Ford was also making stuff for the German
Ford and
army
GM
too.
got paid during World War II, man.
They made a lot of money,
Oh yeah.
but they're smart. I mean, they're
Took
the ones who
advantage
made
of it.
money. They took advantage of it.
But at what cost?
That's not being smart. That's like that's what the government should be there for. That's at the root. The government should regulate interstate commerce, meaning like the American companies, because we want them to help Americans in the end. Like their end goal is to help more Americans make more money. I just lost my train.
They should say if time of war.
You shouldn't be doing business with another country.
That you're
Okay,
especially
yeah.
at war
you
with.
should.
Well,
You should definitely be doing business with another country.
No, I
at
think
war with.
that's against.
You shouldn't.
You have to have
I
somewhat of
like
nationality.
rice. I want to do, I like.
No, dude,
Yes.
you end the wars faster if you stop doing that.
No, dude, you stop, stop war
he's
from
saying-
happening.
he's saying-
if all the economies are like right now, there's no war because all the economies are so integrated.
I'm saying-
that you
No,
can't go to
he's
war
saying
against
at
anyone.
war, during war, don't help the other,
Yeah.
the war, the enemy.
That's what I mean. You'll end the war faster
Yeah.
if you say no, which should just be common sense. It's like it's your own country. Like don't go against you're the country is the reason why you're even a big business.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I think country and business are separate, and I think a lot of huge
that's what the
businesses
government
run
was
like a
intended
country
for.
do.
I think that was what the government was intended for.
So-
The founding fathers wanted the government to interstate commerce.
Yeah.
Regulate interstate commerce. And that was not to
even George Washington said, "Don't get into any
said
affairs
he
with
was
the
an
European. Like,
isolationist.
do not do anything with other countries.
Well,
Stay here.
they were fresh, but they were fresh off of the Civil War,
Civil War.
Civil War. American
Sorry.
Revolution.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm going to shut up now.
We haven't won that this whole time. I'm just kidding. See, and with big businesses, they play a large part in our government right now. They give
Absolutely.
money to lobbyists, and
I think the reason why we have so much big businesses is because there's so much government now, so much regulation that it makes it so smaller businesses can't get into the market. Now it's like you have to have a $30,000 license to open a bar. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're
Dude, the world would be hilarious if there was no liquor license or anything, and everyone was just selling booze.
Man.
It'd be
I
so
bet it wouldn't
funny.
be. I bet it wouldn't be that as bad as we thought. I bet for the first year or two, it definitely skyrocketed. But after that, it's like every other fad.
Potentially, I think every place would just start selling booze. You know?
Well, yeah, it used to be like that.
Yeah. Be hilarious.
Everywhere sold booze.
You could get a liquor, you know, you get a vodka soda going through McDonald's.
There's only like a few per county in Ohio. It's like that's hindering competition. Yeah, it's to centralize it so it's easier to regulate.
Yeah.
And it hinders small businesses. It makes it so only the big can survive.
If only we could sell a little bit of crack with our instant order.
Yeah, it's just skyrocket.
You sell it quick.
Next on ABC News.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of happening with cannabis legalization out west too, because just major corporations are just like kind of taking over the industry, and to where like
by design.
Do you think? Yeah,
no,
true.
The government by design.
Yeah, the states,
100%.
like the way Ohio was going to do it, they're going to only allow like 4 companies.
It's a liquor license. They were literally it's set up right now. Cannabis in Ohio is set up like a liquor license. And if you look at the people, I've done this, I've researched this because I wanted to get one myself. Is if you look at the people who actually got the applications, they're the lawmakers who actually passed the bills. They're all on the boards of these companies that got the applications.
They're setting up their homies.
Yep.
Okay.
Because they're going to get rich. So
and that's the problem with regulation. With like regulation as a whole, it creates greed and corruption too.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine if because California right now has a problem that they can't sell enough legal pot.
Yeah,
because the black market is so much cheaper.
Yeah,
because people can grow their own plants.
Yeah, exactly.
So the states that are doing it now aren't allowing people to grow their own plants. So that fucking sucks because then you can't, you know.
Well, then you can't. There's no competition.
There's no freedom. Yeah, and it's
no
sucks.
competition.
Yeah,
and you can get cheap pot in California. Even
California,
from
you get like $1 a gram or some crazy stuff
because everyone's growing it.
Yeah. And but then legally they charge like a 50% tax on it.
Yeah, which it's cool. Like a lot of that, like I remember hearing a stat about Colorado and like how much the first year that they opened up the cannabis stores, how much of the funding like went to schools and stuff.
Yeah, because they weren't taxing it at these.
Colorado was.
They weren't taxing it as much as California was.
Dude, Colorado, their numbers are inflated because before they were the only place you could get pot. So people would travel there to get pot. But now as more and more states get legalized, wasn't Illinois just legal today?
Yeah, Illinois just became legal today. Yeah.
So Colorado's 15%.
Oh, shit.
That's what I mean. California is like 40 or 50.
Look it up.
I was gonna say 15% doesn't sound too awful bad.
It's still pretty high.
It's still pretty fucking high. Because the sales tax here is 7%.
7, yeah.
So,
I mean, how much is it on alcohol? Like even in Ohio though? I'd say it's around.
Alcohol is like, dude, cigs in Ohio is 50%. Cigs are taxed 50% now. And that's the problem. It's like you're trying to stop this, but you're only hurting the people that are addicted to it.
What do they call it?
So California used to be 15%. Now they're increasing it.
What do they call that? A vice tax? That's what they call it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how they get away with it. They tax things that they deem not
bad.
good.
Yeah.
That's why, like, when you go on cruises, a lot of people buy as much liquor as they let you because once you get
of cigs.
Yeah, exactly. Because once you get outside those lines, and those taxes just disappear. You know. Like,
look how much business you'll do if there was no lines.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I feel like we need to return to our roots. I mean, Thomas Jefferson said that we should have a revolution every 10 years. So.
Yeah,
maybe it's time.
Better pick up the old muskets, boys. Eh?
Yeah, we're a little behind schedule. Civil Wars is all about.
That'd be pretty interesting if we got into a civil war with like.
Nah,
there's so many people.
No, I mean,
I doubt that will ever happen.
No, I don't think it'll ever happen. But I think it'd be pretty because there's people against guns that they won't have guns, and then it should be easily.
The reason why I say it's not going to happen is because like you should be allowed to do that. Like that's the reason.
That's the reason why they don't take more advantage of us than they already do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the threat of us freaking out.
Exactly.
It happens all the time.
The Civil War was literally that. It was because of taxes.
That's why the Second Amendment is the most important amendment we have.
Well, dude, I was looking at if you look at every country, every genocide. If you look at pre-genocide, it always is like a few years before they take away the guns.
Yeah.
And there's a conspiracy. I'm not saying I like 100% believe this, but there's a conspiracy that a lot of the shootings are like Sandy Hook and all that is hoax, so they can take away our Second Amendment and take away our guns. So then we have no
They're
power.
trying to get to people's emotions like they did Like after
9/11.
9/11, after 9/11, they I don't know if
And-
I'm not into 9/11 conspiracies. I bet some terrorists flew a plane into a building, but they used that to go to a war in Iraq where we had no business being.
And they took over their oil
Yeah.
rigs and made money.
Yeah. This is what I was looking at. The Ottoman Turkey Empire took away guns in 1911, and then in 1915 to 1917, they killed 1.5 million civilians.
Yeah.
Nice.
Soviet Union, dude, 20 million. No, they used to have estimates that Stalin's nickname was Stalin the Butcher. There was estimates he killed 60 million of his own citizens.
60. Look at the numbers on there. Like you see the number 20 million, and then
these are when they take their guns. They take their guns, and then these follow.
People. Yeah.
yeah.
Which it's hard to actually say it's causation.
Yeah.
Because it's just one correlation.
Yeah.
But
that's
definitely the risk at not having guns is that then you have no power.
You have no way to defend
yourself. Who
yourself.
don't think that way, I think, are living in a fantasy world.
Just like that March for Our Lives thing after that shooting, like they seriously were all living on emotion. I get where they're coming from, but that was all emotion.
Yeah.
There was no logic.
If the government takes away our guns, then we have nothing to stop them. And I'm not like, I don't think it'll happen. Even if they did take us down, I don't think it would happen.
No one wants that to happen.
We got to protect our rights because they're not being protected by us.
Yeah.
You know, we're losing every day. There's laws coming into play that don't make any sense, that hurt us as regular people.
Absolutely.
As people who are good people, it hurts us.
Yeah. Good Samaritans.
Yeah.
And people like that. That's the bad thing too. Like people encourage that.
Well, it's because we're going
because
to
they don't see it.
It's because it's becoming a nanny state.
They get fooled by wording.
Yeah.
Like whenever they make a big new law, they go and they do all this research and these marketing things, and I run them because we do them in school because I'm a marketing guy, and they will test specific wordings of policies like Obamacare.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. The war on terror, anything to do with that, any publicity things they word it very carefully so that people have a very emotional response in whatever the way they want them to go. And people are falling for it, and we are losing.
We are.
There's entire novels that I've seen actually like just within the past couple of days about how words can evoke emotions out of us and like 100%. How different. Yeah.
1984.
It's like people don't like the word moist.
Yeah.
People hear the word moist or crusty.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the word racism. It's like the word racism.
It's only just that penetration.
But it's like the word racism. Like if you look at the definition of racism, it's believing your race is superior to all others, or one other race,
or hating other races,
which is
racist.
almost like that's the true definition is holding yours higher to one other's. But it's changed almost to where it's like, no, racism is just if you just fucking hate some other race.
I mean, I would say that's racism, and whether that's not the initial definition or not, that's what racism is. I don't give a fuck what you think it is. Like that's
racism.
If you hate another race, you're racist.
Well, nowadays people you can even be called.
If you hate another race, sorry, Mitch, go ahead.
No,
absolutely, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, even if you like comment like on a black person about their hair, like, why is your hair like that? Like, even that is considered like a racist comment.
When it's just curiosity.
Yeah, and it's all about the intent behind it. And I think
intent gets lost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think
it's because we're so literal. You can't leave anything to the birds. Like
people get pissed off about stuff they shouldn't be pissed off about.
Exactly. Yeah.
Perception is people's reality.
Yeah.
People love to play the victim too. And that's a big part. And
Dude,
and that's including white people too.
People make big money on playing victim.
Everyone does. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not just white people. Everyone does. That's what I mean. It's like I almost hate even. It's just weird to me because I feel like when we were kids, you didn't hear about racism at all.
We're also from Mercer County.
I mean, still,
there's no opportunity to be racist because there's only one race.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even when I was a kid, like I would go travel with my parents and stuff, and like I met so many really awesome black families. And like Asian families, and they're like, I'm still friends with some of the people I met on the road with. That's what I mean. Like, I hadn't even a slightest idea of like I didn't even really know about racism.
Your parents are also very well traveled, rounded individuals.
That is very
their story's crazy, unique compared to a lot of ours.
Yeah, that is true.
And but I was never people were not racist around me.
But I feel like if you more you bring it up, the more people will think of it.
But people used to be fucking racist, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever talk to your grandparents?
Yeah.
Or man, my neighbor, she's still living. She's like 96 years old, and she just would be so racist when we go over there.
Mm-hmm.
Was she actually being? Was she like?
Yeah.
She was being like.
Just saying like,
dude,
racist shit about black people like a lot.
Yeah.
And it was savage. Like a black person would come on the TV and she'd say like something just blatantly racist. Because that's how she grew up. So that's dying. And I think in a way, like with her, it dies, Yeah. So a lot of that stuff just takes some time. Yeah. And I think like when we're older,
rehashing it. I think it's becoming rehashed.
Well, it's because they're going way too far.
Yeah. That's true.
I think.
Mm-hmm. Back then, it was a societal norm. Like my grandpa actually had a swastika on his forearm. And it's not like he was a bad person or anything. It was just normal back then. And he was from a very, he grew up in poverty, poor as all hell, didn't have anything, and was from Mercer County. And yeah, man, like, yeah, it was just normal back then to.
Well, then a lot of the other stuff is that they had like that, the swastika is in a lot of ancient religions too. It's a symbol of, I think, peace, actually.
So how old was your grandpa? Because depending on how old he is, it's all right. Is he over 4,000 years old?
I think today, he passed away a few years ago, but I think today it'd be about 60 or so.
He wasn't old enough, bro.
Yeah, damn. All right. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. He's 56. I need to be 57.
Oh man, 57.
It's a religious. It's a religious symbol.
If he got that when he was 1 year old, he's fine.
Yeah.
It has properties with good luck. And see, the Nazis turned it. They also.
Okay, they did.
They turned it. So
okay.
like usually, and it's also, I believe it's flipped too. No, it's flipped too. So like when you see it in like regular stuff, it's all straight. It's in line.
Mm-hmm.
So I can get a tattoo of the one that's flipped and not turned.
Well, that's the problem. Is it depends on how you look at it,
bro.
It's
you
get
it on your wrist. Man, symbols they change and lose their meanings.
Symbols,
what are you gonna do?
But these symbols are still used, though. Is the problem? These are all used in Asian, a lot of Asian cultures. Like if you go to India,
I feel like if you see it and you were looking at an ancient building in India, you got to realize like that's not. It means something different.
But that just means like words don't lose meaning necessarily.
Well, you just got to realize.
Depends on where you're at.
You got to see the context.
Yeah, words lose meaning regionally. I feel like.
Yeah, sometimes. Kind of with cultures.
All right, you guys are cool with the break?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hugie, peace.
Go Bobcats.
Go Bobcats.
Go Bucks.
We're back, and it's time. Now, I want to bring up Mitchell Mabry's thing on Spotify. A playlist. That's it.
Yeah.
What's the name of the playlist so people can follow it?
It's ANDDD. I don't know where to get DDD at. Indie.
Yeah. It was just like, and indie, because I was making a whole bunch of playlists, and like indie music is like mostly what I listen to, like indie/alternative. And, you got to have an indie playlist. And I remember you texted me that day, and that literally made my day when you said that you and your coworker, right?
Yeah, we were listening to it, and we're like, dang, this is a great freaking playlist, dude.
Dude, I got some good songs on there.
How long did it take you to make that?
I mean, so what Spotify is really cool because it gives you like, you start adding songs and it'll give you like recommended songs. So I was kind of adding some down there, but then about like another half that playlist is I'm always checking out new music, and Spotify is great for that as well because they give you like recommendations like all the time and make like playlists based on the songs that you listen to, like whatever they think that you will like. And yeah, so I would just kind of listen on there, and I ever heard something that was like indie or alternative, I just added on there. Yeah. But that is a really good playlist. I'm really talking myself up.
I really like that playlist. I mean, I even listened to Hank's changed my life, like music. Now I'm listening to some Frank's music. I like some EDM stuff, like this crazy stuff. I like those. Like Spotify, like just hanging out with you guys just like changed my life in music because it was like I was always stuck on Spotify or on a Pandora. It's just the same fucking
I think
songs
I always
over
think
and
of
over
music
again.
as like a one way people can talk about themselves. That's like it has more. It's like more than just the words. Like
You mean like
Like
it
just
sets
the
an
music.
identity, or what are you trying to say?
No, I'm saying like you can actually speak more, like deeper. Like it's music. I mean, like
I would say both music and the spoken word are a form of art, and art's like
Yeah,
a
it
way
is.
of expression, and that's all.
Well,
but I feel like music you can feel emotion in.
Oh yeah,
And that's what I mean. It's more than just words. It's like the emotion
It is. Yeah.
behind the words.
Yeah. What do you like? What's your favorite kind of music genre, Mitch?
See, I always say Indian alternative, but honestly, I really like rap a lot, like
like
in
rap?
hip hop. Yeah, like Brockhampton, Tyler the Creator. I'm into that whole scene.
you like indie rap.
Indie, yeah, basically.
Indie.
Like rap that. I mean, dude, Tyler the Creator now is huge though. You know,
that boy?
Yeah,
So is Brockhampton.
Who that boy?
Yeah, Brockhampton. Yeah, who him is, who him is, and I'm just sitting there like, fuck yeah. Fucking headbanging to that. But yeah, man. There's been I like all types of music. You know, one thing about me is I'll get really into a genre. So like I'll get really into like EDM music, and then I'll get kind of bored with it, and then I'll just start listening to like oldies. You know, and it's
I
really
feel like that's everything in life.
Yeah.
Everything goes in these spurts.
Oh yeah.
You have these spurts of each one. I do the exact same thing.
It's funny how my music taste began though, because oh yeah, sorry. My first, you guys remember old WD Amy way back in the day? Stallers remember?
What is it?
WD Amy Taylor's
Oh,
friend?
WD, yeah.
Where
So
was she from?
someplace over in Indiana.
That's what it was.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Was it
Mitchell was dating this. You dated her, right?
Double D Amy.
We were just like went on a couple of dates. She had a thing for me. I don't know. She's kind of hot. But anyway, I listened to like basic ass music like bedrock back in the day. I can make your
Yeah.
bed. Just like
Who didn't?
yeah, like dumb poppy shit. And then she told me that she liked the Beatles. So I was like, all right, I'll listen to the Beatles. You know, like kind of have something in common with her, like learn a little bit more about what she's into. And I started listening to it, and I was just like, this music is amazing. Like, how have I not ever listened to this? And then I get into John Lennon, and then I get into like
You got in deep
CCR.
on the John Lennon.
Hey, I'm gonna
Dude.
have to show you,
bro, for
my
sure.
Beatles cassette.
Yeah.
My cousin from Italy got. I don't know how he got his hands on it, but it's the studio recordings of the Beatles songs of like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts. Is that it?
The
Yeah.
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Band. Or
Yeah.
something.
No, that's the album.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's the studio version. It's takes that they never released.
No shit. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
You definitely. It's on cassette. I have it on cassette. I gotta
yeah.
transfer it.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny. Music is just something that you can really relate to somebody. I mean, one of you guys just said it earlier, how like music is just a topic of discussion that anybody can be involved in. And, you know, like Delso and I, back when we were, you know, he listens to 90 grunge all the time when he was younger. And that's what I grew up on, like Green Day, Nirvana, you know,
But there's
Pearl
still
Jam.
boundaries. There's still boundaries. That's what I mean. I think there's still boundaries in music. You know what I mean?
And what, further
Like,
explain.
yeah.
Like,
further
there's,
explain that
I
one.
mean, boundaries like. I'm saying a boundary like is just talking over a track music.
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why so?
Rap is.
But I think there are changes in pitch and all of that adds to it. That
When you're
makes it
talking,
more
there's changes
music.
in
Okay,
pitch,
so-
pitch
Yeah,
anyways.
exactly.
Okay.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm
I
saying.
think I
There's
get it.
boundaries around music. What I guess mainstream is music.
But there's a lot of experimental music out there now that are pushing
definitely.
those
Oh,
boundaries
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
Dude,
There
there's
always
so
is.
Yeah,
much
though.
there's-
There
experimental
always
music.
is. Though.
I
It's like Jimi Hendrix in the 70s. Like he was the first dude to throw on an overdrive on a guitar.
Yeah.
Like no one was doing that.
Yeah.
There's always one of those people. It's like Kid Cudi. I think of Kid Cudi when I think of like our generation.
Oh, yeah.
He was definitely so experimental. Then he was far from mainstream, but then it became mainstream.
Chance the Rapper comes to mind.
Yeah.
yeah.
Different sounds. It's cool, man.
Yeah.
Those guys became popular not because someone else wanted to become popular, but because their music was that good.
Well, even like Little Dicky.
Yeah.
Like he's just a different side of that.
Tyler the Creator's Igor, like his new album is really experimental. Like the synths that he used in that album, like Earthquake, that song was huge, which really isn't even one of my I think that's like one of the my least favorite songs on the album.
Really?
But yeah.
Love that song, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Earthquake. Yeah, dude.
It's not the only one I listen to off that album.
Really? Dude, I like a lot. That album is really good. But, I mean, even that song, I feel like it's experimental as far as, like, mainstream goes. Because, I mean, that's, like, that song is a lot different, I think, from what you normally hear on the radio.
I would agree.
Mm-hmm. But
and it's amazing that it became so popular.
Yeah,
it's weird how everyone's mainstream is different too. You think about that?
Oh, for us, because we're out of the loop in some ways when it comes to that kind of thing. Like the stuff my little brother listens to.
That's what I'm saying.
It's so far away from what I'm listening to,
Yeah.
but that's what they're playing on like the pop stations.
Yeah, that's mainstream, really.
Yeah.
What's like someone who listens to like South African reggae 24/7. Like,
but then my dad
his
listens
mainstream's
to
going to be a lot different.
different genre music, and it's changing.
Yeah.
We're never going to get 70s music, and it's not all going to sound the same like it did all in the 70s.
Well, it's changing because of
There's
the
too many different
medium.
outlets.
The medium.
Exactly.
There's so many different platforms.
Yeah.
And that's what's awesome about like the technological advances that we have had in the past like 15 years is that anybody can get famous. Anybody can get their stuff. I mean, we're
It's
recording
not always
this.
a good thing, though.
Yeah, okay, very true, very
Always a
true.
great thing.
But think
it's a good
about
thing.
like right now you gotta everyone that's come on here, I'm sure have commented about this. But like your setup here is really cool, but this is still on such a low scale. But we can upload this right to Spotify, and this sounds to me
right next to the best ones.
Yeah,
It's not really upload. Dude, it's a lot more complicated, though.
Is it really? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Frank's
That's
a
the
wizard
thing
on
about-
it.
Yeah.
He does a good
I
job.
had to write my own
that stuff.
script for it.
But it's not.
Like you can either pay someone to do it. You have to pay for a platform, and I was like, screw that. I'm not paying anyone. So I just did it myself. And wrote my
But
own
it's not out of the regular person's hands. Like you can.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying
It's just harder to download.
Yeah.
Than downloading it. Yeah.
harder than just dragging and dropping.
I feel like that little block is just there to keep people from uploading complete garbage.
Yeah, then that mediocrity breeds mediocrity. That's that's what they still think. It's
And
like,
they don't want to ruin their platform.
Yeah, that's that's what I mean. Like SoundCloud's starting to get too terrible.
That's where SoundCloud gets a bad rap because on some tracks are good, but there's a whole lot of just
mediocrity,
low level because it's so easy to upload.
Exactly.
Which I think is overall a good thing for the platform. They're the platform that does that,
Well, they're not. There's plenty of other platforms.
They're the
That's
most
other
popular
thing.
one, though.
They're the most popular.
Yeah, they're-
Yeah.
Like there's probably so many people out there that are like, screw them, screw the system. Like I'm gonna make my own website, and then like never is exposed, and they can have like a #1 hit.
Yeah.
True.
Stolly, sometime when there's an indie show in Columbus, I'm gonna hit you up, and you gotta
Alright.
come. You gotta come, man. You have a ball, dude.
That'd be fun.
It's a good time, dude.
What was the last concert you went to?
The last concert, I went to Brockhampton in Detroit.
Dude, I never got the chance to ask you, how was that?
It was really fun. The thing is, Zach and I, we went and we weren't in the pit, but it was still awesome because we had like actual seats that we can sit in. I mean, we weren't sitting, but we were standing up. But yeah, I know, man, because the crowd, dude, the pit was getting wild too, and that's what I love, man.
Bro,
That's what I live
concert
for.
venues that have seats can fucking die.
I agree, man.
Why?
Yeah.
It's like when we went and saw Alt J. There could have been so much fun, and they're just doing it so people don't get too wild. But it's
Money.
lame as it's
they
for
can charge
money. Yeah,
more.
but it's
They charge more.
bullshit, bro.
That's literally the reason.
But so hear me out. Anyone who's listening to this, do research when you buy a ticket. Don't go anywhere that has assigned seating. Fuck those guys. If enough people don't go there because they have assigned seats, they won't have assigned seats anymore because of money.
Yeah. But I still,
They called it the pit, dude. They called it the pit.
They did.
On the website. They called it a fucking pit. It's not.
Yeah.
They have seats.
Either way, I still had a good
I want
time.
a hand
dude.
dug.
still
I want a
getting
hand
after it.
dug pit down there. I wanted them to dig a 12-foot trench.
God damn it.
I want to watch my concert
Yeah.
mud wrestling.
That's funny. But yeah, the Brockhampton concert was really fun though. I mean, dude, the best part about like being in the indie and alternative bands is that like there are shows all the time in Columbus for like $20,
Really?
You can go out to bars and spend like 3 times that and you will have so much more fun at a concert. I'm telling you, dude.
I'm surprised people aren't more into it. Even for local bands. Like Athens is a pretty good music scene, but I've been to shows where the artists are kicking ass and there's no one there. It's like
Social anxiety.
Yeah. Well,
it's just different.
Yeah, it's funny. I brought one of my buddies, Matt, from school, and he's like a pretty reserved guy. Like once you get to know him, he opens up a lot more, but he's a pretty reserved guy. And I took him to see, it was Twin Peaks. Do you know who that is, Hank? Yeah, and their shows get rowdy, and he opened up, and I was like, man, is he actually going to get wild with me? And he, let himself go and had a great ass time, and I did not expect that out of him. But
Half
it
the
was
problem
awesome.
is just getting there.
Yeah.
So many people are like, they hit that. Like,
It's a hard
like,
sell sometimes.
Exactly. And that's social. I think a lot of it's social anxiety.
It's just something that's different. You know, you don't know what to expect if you've never done it before.
Yeah.
But for me, I've had so much fun at shows. Maybe it's because of Bonnaroo or whatever, but like,
well, I think everyone
even
needs
the
to
first
try
concert
something.
we ever went to Borns. That was sweet.
Yeah, no, first concert was the All J concert. Wait,
No, it was Borns.
really?
It was either All J or Borns.
Okay, I feel like All J was my first one. Either or, besides
No, we went together. It was your idea to go to Borns in Columbus. Remember that?
with Christian. Yeah, I remember. I do remember that. Yeah. Dude, we were young back then.
We were young as
man,
shit.
dude, that was funny. That was funny. Now I live I go to shows there all the time. Newport. That's like my favorite venue in Columbus, man. It's really nice and like literally.
seating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the smaller the venue, the
Dude,
better
the vibe,
it is.
the vibe too. I think the vibe adds so much.
The
to it.
energy is just separated and spread across the crowd so much easier in a venue like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everyone can be involved. Everyone's dancing. There is no split between the pit and then the seating. Like everyone is just there enjoying the music. Yeah, it's
crowd mentality.
It's like how
energy
gyms are
is
set up. It's like how gyms at schools are set up. How they have the stage right next to the gym, and the whole gym is like if there was a band at a school.
okay.
Like that's right. That's how they need to set up more places. Just like giant open areas, one big stage.
You don't want it too big because if you can't pack that bitch, the energy's gonna be off.
Yeah,
True.
that's the problem.
Mosh
Very
pits.
true.
That's when you
That
when
one
you
time
build
when-
movable walls.
That's why
Yeah.
like the field house is really cool because it doesn't take that many people to pack it.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
when it's
yeah.
packed, it's popping. But if you put that same crowd in one of the newer gyms,
oh, it looks.
the energy
For sure.
sucks because there's so much open space.
Dude, the field house is so unique.
Dude,
No, it's the coolest place to play basketball.
I've never seen a high school basketball gym like it. I remember when we were playing Lima Senior and our senior year, and Christian Berry dunked the ball, and I was, I was like kind of being lazy, I guess, but I was like all the way in the backcourt, and the place got so loud that it literally like threw off my vision. Like it felt like
Yeah.
everything was
Oh,
just
yeah.
blurred, and I was just like,
And not
what?
only that, it's like just think of how the gym, the concrete seating all the way around. Just, like there's a lot of
Gets
gyms
that
with one
noise and
concrete
bounces
seating on the
around.
side.
Yeah.
Or
But
no
like that-
concrete seating. All those bleachers that roll out. There's so much empty
Yeah,
air. in
that's
there,
what I
it
mean.
Sucks the air out of the place.
Yeah,
Dude, and that's
it gets
how it should be.
loud in there, man. Loud.
I think that's how it.
But-
It doesn't
and-
matter how many people they seat. I think it just it makes it more. I get how the whole more people you make more money off of it, but dude, the
High school
vibe,
shouldn't care
the
about that shit.
vibe,
No.
like the Fieldhouse vibe is awesome.
It is.
When
It
it's
is-
packed. This year they're gonna have a tough time packing it, I think.
Yeah,
The boys aren't doing very well.
No, they're
Surprised?
But I'd love to see him get a win.
Everyone loves the underdog.
For sure, but it doesn't sell tickets,
Oh yeah, early on at least.
Are they still winless right now?
Yeah.
The Salina? Okay.
They got
they're-
real close a couple times though. Over tournament, I watched them play. Dude, they were competing with some good teams. But they just don't have. They're not deep enough.
Yeah, they
kids get tired.
they lost a lot of kids. They all like for some reason the kids quit,
That's what I heard.
and,
Yeah.
and it's just not.
I
It's
wonder.
Not the
I wonder
same.
if that's because of the drug testing.
I don't think so, man.
I don't think so.
Because
You
the
don't think
football
so?
team still had great numbers.
yeah,
That's
there's
true.
still a decent amount of people playing
And
football. I don't know.
I wonder
honestly
how much
why.
numbers that got actually affected.
I don't know, man. Max said they actually did do tests randomly, like 40 kids at a time.
No shit.
That's
They never
crazy.
did when we did.
Yeah.
We were there.
That's the nanny state.
Yeah,
Does
but
that just get implemented or something?
dude, I mean, my brother and sister are in high school, and they say that the amount of kid that smokes pot in high school, like right now, is like absurd.
You think so?
Really?
Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
think
way-
Max and his friends
yeah.
are that into it.
Really? Okay.
They were for a little while, but I think they're.
Yeah. I don't know. At least that's what I hear from them. But I don't know.
Maybe it's just the kids they're hanging out with, Mitchell.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows, man? But yeah,
I don't know.
The devil's lettuce.
The devil's lettuce.
Devil's lettuce. Yeah, I don't really. Marijuana, it's natural. I don't. You don't want to abuse.
That's a bad argument, Jacob.
Well, it's a plant. How do you ban a plant?
Yeah, exactly.
Well-
Like, you
It's
know
not-
why they
it's-
call
so-
it weed? Is because it literally will grow in the ditches of Indiana because it's so
Yeah.
much of a weed.
Yeah.
But the natural argument is the worst one because there's
Well-
shit in nature that kills you.
Well, yeah,
Right.
but I mean,
Not necessarily.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, bro. You touch poison ivy, it's just like a bitch. Fuck poison ivy, you know?
Yeah, but how
so
much-
natural's not a good argument. But in reality, if you just look at what it does to people, it's not that bad.
natural is a good argument because it also depends on the region. Because it's like our region right here.
What are you
Like
talking
we don't
about,
have
bro?
that. We don't have a lot of shit that'll kill us. That's what I'm saying.
No, but there's a lot of shit that'll stab you and make you itch.
Yeah. I think the whole natural argument is just that there are no like added, like nowadays anything that we
that's
put into
what I
our
meant.
yeah.
It just grows.
Well, to
like,
me,
just can't-
natural, that is natural to me just because it's like it grows a lot better and a lot faster and a lot more. You can closely pack it a little bit more than a lot of the stuff, trees, which we make a lot of paper out of, trees. You can grow a lot more hemp. Yeah, you can grow a lot more hemp. Because that's the other problem is that hemp had a stigma on it because it was considered pot when it doesn't have any THC in it.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. It's like there's a lot. It's better. It's just better overall for the environment, which is natural, I guess.
The whole reason that cannabis I think cannabis and hemp back in like the 1920s, I think
1930s, the wood pulp companies got it banned.
Yeah, and wasn't it because they proclaimed that cannabis made black men
that was like in the 50s. They pushed that crap.
Okay,
but the wood pulp companies, like, well, here's the other thing: the Industrial Revolution was really pushing it. Like cars were advancing every year, and so now you had a lot of more farming machinery that could be more widely acceptable. So like now drills. So like one of our drills on our farm, and a drill is what you plant like soybeans with.
Okay,
and it's not like a regular planter, because you can plant them a lot closer and a lot more than corn. But like our drill has a setting for hemp seeds.
Okay.
And so like more industrial ag could be bought by regular farmers. And that started driving. This is my theory about it right now. Well, this is to the point. Like it started driving up. More and more people grew hemp because it was so much, you could grow a lot more of it and you didn't need as much land as trees. And so it started driving the price of lumber down. Then you have these wood pulp companies, which they were the ones that funded it, all the legislation against hemp, and they got it federally regulated.
It's crazy how many uses hemp.
The Declaration of Independence is written on hemp.
Exactly.
Paper.
Yeah. I heard that before.
Every rope, a hemp rope will last longer and stronger than newer rope.
Yeah. I'm an advocate for cannabis and hemp and everything. I think there is an age limit though. Like, like it should be 21.
I think 18. I think if you can go fight for your country, then you should be able to do whatever you want. That's a pretty
good argument.
That's my argument.
I think so too.
It's just the age of adulthood. And there's some things about brain development that studies have shown.
Yeah.
With things like pot and alcohol.
Which that goes back to, I don't think it should be a nanny state. I think you can't have it where it's like, oh, well, you can do this just because we think. Well, there hasn't been studied enough. I get the whole. Yeah. There are studies, a lot of studies on it does affect brain growth at young ages, but a lot of that is like around 16.
I've heard different numbers.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because what is it like? Men's brains don't fully develop until like what, 25?
Like 30, 32, 30 to 32.
Oh, really?
Your brain doesn't stop developing until then.
It varies from like the 25, but like
it'll also depend on how stressed you are.
Yeah.
Like if you're under more of a stressful situation, then your brain will take longer to develop because your brain's at it's more in a defensive mode rather than a relaxed mode. You age faster when you're more relaxed, which is odd. Like the more stressed and that happened at when we divulged from bacterial cells, like way back there. Bacterial cells are always in a defensive mode because they're asexual. So they can just reproduce whenever they want. So they're always in a defensive mode. We kept that same idea in our DNA, but we also need to relax.
That's a theory. You can't prove that, no way.
Well, I mean, you look at bacteria and
it's a good theory, but we came from a lot of that stuff.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a neurologist had a lecture about this.
Yeah, but you can't prove that. No fucking way.
I don't know. All I know is what I've heard is stress is extremely fucking bad for you. The bad stress, at least, because you need some stress on your body. But like those bad stresses can fuck up. I don't give a shit how healthy you are or good you eat. If you are stressed to the max of bad stress, it doesn't matter. Like you need to find a way to get rid of those stressors. If you're stressed, get rid of them.
And the thing is, almost all stress, or not almost all stress, but a lot of stress and a lot of that anxiety that we talk about is really unnecessary. And that's why like meditation can really kind of prohibit all that anxiety because it just slows everything down. I even got into meditation a little bit last year where I started at like 10 minutes and I worked up to like half hour at some points, and I did it for like 2 months. And what I would do is I wouldn't, sit cross-legged Indian style and like put my hands up and go, I literally would just lay down or just sit down, just sit however I wanted and just focus on my breathing. And afterwards, like you just literally, your brain chatter just quiets down, and you also gain the ability to recognize your thoughts for what you are. So you kind of separate your identity.
You're viewing your ego from a third person.
Exactly. Yeah. And then so you can catch those thoughts. Like, so when like I have a big speech coming and I'm like, oh man, like what if I stutter? And you can kind of catch yourself and like.
You can watch your thoughts.
Exactly.
As they come. It's almost like it's almost watching a river and seeing a fish go by.
And you can watch. And you can stop it. Yeah. It's like you can recognize
like psychology is based off of a lot of that. Like Carl Jung was big on you. To actually become whole, you have to be one that can watch your own ego, which is a weird thing because it's like, if you're watching your ego, then what's the next step? Like, how do you watch the inner deeper? But that's another.
Yeah, I have a thing that some people can do as a challenge. It's called Exodus. Now it's technically it's for a religious base. But you don't necessarily have to do a religious base. But I do this a couple times. And I think it's actually coming up here on the 13th.
I did it with you for a while.
Yeah, you did. I
did the pussy version.
So basically, it's kind of like talking about like the quiet kind of meditation kind of thing. But it's no TV, no social media, no internet besides work or school, no sugar, no sugary drinks. It's cold showers.
It's like a mental and physical detox.
Yeah, it is. And and then you have to have like intense workout.
I take cold showers every day anyway.
Yeah, but it's intense workout, and it's like an hour of basically meditation. And I mean, it's crazy because this is where I actually found that meditation actually works, and actually sitting in silence. Because there is no distraction of all of like the TV and the craziness.
Because you're not allowed to.
You're not exactly. You're forcing yourself to not do it, and it's amazing on how much I actually found that just sitting there is like calming and relaxing.
I've been
think,
a firm
and it's just
believer
like,
of
wow,
meditation.
This is
the way
awesome.
to do it.
But
meditation is the way to do it.
Taking out all of those bad stuff, and it feels really good.
I agree with the energy of that, Sully. But there's too many things that I truly get a kick out of.
No, I mean,
I'm a little too hedonistic, I guess. Maybe not well enough self-disciplined, but I love certain things. When I wind down at the end of the night, watching YouTube to me is so much fucking fun.
Yeah,
I love it.
I think there's no. What's the point of life then? If you
you got to enjoy life. It's just almost like
it's a challenge.
It's a challenge. It's a discipline, and it might actually at the end of it, you might actually learn. Oh, I don't need all this bullshit of all this social media and all this crap. I can actually take time. I can read a book.
Because I don't use social media at all.
I don't either. I don't have Instagram. I don't have Twitter. Or
I use it
like
for
that.
business. That's really how I use it now.
I think it's the best. Like, if you think about it objectively, that's like the only good excuse to use social media.
Exactly.
Is for business.
Yeah.
Or if you're trying to get laid.
Yeah.
I'm starting to like leave, like if I have to go into Walmart or something, I'm starting to just leave my phone in my car just because like I don't want to be around my phone all the time.
Yeah.
I think it's just having it there is a distraction itself.
That's one of the best parts about Bonner is not having your phone.
Yeah. See, I take pride in being able to do cool shit without posting it all over Instagram because I feel like a lot of people validate their experience.
It's just insecurity. It's just straight up like that's all.
Everyone kind of wants to show off a little bit.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong.
We were driving that limo.
Yeah, dude, that's different. That's different. That's what I mean. There's a limit. It's different when it's just like that. But then people go all. They keep going. They keep posting stuff about it. Whatever.
Yeah, people get addicted to it.
Yeah,
but anyways,
it's like all the butt models on Instagram. It's like
gotta love it.
Yeah.
Mitchell, what'd you do for New Year's Eve, man?
New Year's Eve, I didn't do very much at all, actually. Like I said, I got a little too tipsy for Chris on that Christmas at Dussel's, a liquor exchange, which for now on, if we ever have that again, we'll be a beer exchange, not liquor.
Exchange.
So yeah, I hung out with Zach for a little bit, and I was honestly home before the ball dropped, and I watched the ball drop with my mom, and at like 12:05, I just hit the hay. But I woke up feeling pretty good. So, dude, I'm telling you, I am 22 years old. I know I'm still young. I got a full life ahead of me, but like
hangovers get worse.
Dude, my body, yeah, exactly. Like, dude, we played
your liver's damaged, bro.
Yeah, but dude, not like
No, dude, your liver heals itself completely in 9 months.
Even just from playing Eastball the past 2 days, just playing basketball, you know, my body to this morning and tomorrow morning is going, like, my joints, like my hips, my knees will be like a little tight, you know. And hangovers now, it's like drinking really is not. I don't know. I mean, it's
hard.
Well, dude, just think about
drinking hard.
This is what I think about drinking.
Exactly.
Is it's like it's almost like how you build a resistance to a bacteria or whatever. Is your body's building, because alcohol metabolizes in formaldehyde, and so formaldehyde's poison, and that's what your body. That's your hangover. Your body's getting rid of it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like your body's building a resistance to say like, hey, asshole, quit drinking as much, because it's like, this is just, we don't want to do this.
Just a big fuck you.
Yeah,
Don't do
exactly.
that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. A lot of people think that like,
but your brain's like, do it again.
Or your dick's
man.
just like,
Yeah. So yeah, I don't have that. Let's just go get a little drunk. Like, dude, if I get a couple of drinks in me,
That's true, Mitch.
yeah, dude. Like, I just, it's just that's why I don't drink much anymore.
Yeah.
But you know, at least you know I'm not drinking all the time. You know, back in high school I could do it because I would literally get blackout drunk, like completely belligerent.
But you wouldn't black out. Maybe you would. For me in high
You
school, I would
pissed
drink
on my
hard
wall.
as shit.
Yeah.
You pissed on my wall.
That was my very first time ever getting drunk.
That was the funniest shit in the world.
I walk upstairs and I turn the corner, and here's Mitchell Mabry. Just you almost look like you were passed out, but you were it's like you were
Dude,
standing
he was
up
standing
in
up.
bed. You were standing
Yeah.
up on your side.
I think he was on his knees.
Yeah, he was on his knees because I remember
'Cause we were both
I'm
in
sitting
that room.
Yeah, I'm sleeping. All of a sudden I hear Mitch. I'm like, Mitch, what are you doing? He's like, and that's all I said. And all of a sudden I hear belt. I hear belt,
pissing on my wall.
and then zip, and I'm like, Mitchell, what are you doing? All of a sudden I just hear a stream of water.
Dude, at their dorm when you and Mark woke up and you guys didn't even stop me pissing, you guys just
That
let
was
me
the
do
funniest
it. I woke up 2 floors below at 7:30 a.m. just passed out face down on the floor with two people just shaking me
we
up.
gotta have a little backstory about that one too. It happened the exact same thing. We all got drunk at OU, and me and Mark was sleeping out and in the living room of Hank's dorm room, and all of a sudden we just hear a door open and we see Mitchell pull down his pants and start peeing outside of the door.
So there's this huge piss puddle outside of our door. And like people are, we're in a hallway. It's a dorm. People are walking through it. I stepped in it first thing in the morning. I woke up to go get a drink. I stepped in Mitchell's piss.
Yeah.
And Mitchell gets, I don't think you were 2 floors down. I think you were laying in it, like face down in the hallway.
Yeah, you were outside the door. You didn't
Pass out?
You were in the puddle.
Because our RAs found you, I think.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I was not on that floor, was I? Maybe I
think
was.
you were.
I don't know. But I only know that I was like face first, and yeah, they
What
woke
did we
me up,
even
but-
do that night? Because
we went to the Skull. It was the concert,
Yes.
and then we went to a Skull, which is a bar in OU.
The Skull.
And then we just had a bunch of like basically IPAs and just got drunk as hell and walked back, and
That was such a fun night.
That's
one of my
night.
favorite nights of all time.
that was an awesome night.
I can't believe that's the same night. I have a picture from that night. That was my birthday too.
Was it really?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I turned 20, I think. 21.
Wait, what? Yeah, that's funny. The good thing about me though is that like even though I do get very, very intoxicated sometimes, I am a very friendly drunk and loving. Like
is true.
No one likes an angry drunk.
No
dude,
one likes angry drunk.
Yeah, some people get too drunk and they
And
just
if
get
you're an
out of
angry
control,
drunk,
man.
quit drinking.
Exactly.
It's the only thing you can do. That's up.
Because dealing with a person who is blackout drunk and they're angry like that is not a fun time. I've had to do it many times.
Especially your friends, man.
Dude, it's tough to see, dude.
Yeah.
It's tough to see, man. For sure.
Because it's like raw. It's like they're animalistic at that point. It's like what their true thoughts are.
Yeah. But yeah, normally when I get drunk, I'm like, oh, I love you guys. Getting all like, yeah.
And then you piss on our shit.
Yeah, and then I show that affection by pissing all over stuff.
Marking your territory.
Yeah, man.
That's great. I'm gonna start coming and partying with you more, just because it seems like whenever I'm near, you always just start pissing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start coming.
Jacob's might be finding something he enjoys.
Yeah.
Is that a hidden kink, Jacob?
It might be.
Golden showers.
Oh man.
Is this right? No.
Dude, that'd be weird as hell.
Is.
Oh, I don't. Nothing against people that are into that stuff, but boy,
Yeah, we don't shame here. We just question.
I'm just. I don't know if I will do that. I'm all good.
What, pissing on each other?
Yeah.
A lot of people are into it too, man.
That's
That's super
floats your
weird.
boat, man.
Yeah, that'd be so weird if people were into that.
Like, I don't know one person. That's funny. Yeah. There's a lot of weird sexual things that people,
For sure.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
The list is probably endless.
I don't think I'm too freaky.
This world runs on money and sex.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, it's portrayed.
Who wants to have
And
sex?
booze.
Not the whole world, but definitely
A lot of it.
some stuff.
I mean, that's like the point of life is to
you
reproduce.
should go to a casino. It's sweet.
Dude, we drove around some gay couples in a limousine last night or 2 nights ago.
Yeah, that's what Hank was.
going,
That's what Hank was showing.
Awesome.
It was so
Yeah.
fun.
Hell yeah.
Fucking limousine.
Hank's uncle, right?
Yep.
Your uncle.
My uncle's friends have a limo, and a legit limo, and they were looking for someone to drive it because they all wanted to get trashed for New Year's Eve. And this came up at my family Christmas, and I was like, you know what? I'm not doing anything for New Year's Eve. Let's roll a dice. Let's see what happens on this gay adventure in a limo. And of course, I tried to rope Frank into it. He agreed because he's wild, and we just had a gay old time. It was hilarious. We met some sweet gay couples, made some new friends along the way, and gambled. And Frank even won some money.
Oh, yeah.
You came out on top then, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I almost quadrupled my money.
And driving a limousine is sweet.
Is it?
So you feel so cool. We went through the McDonald's drive-through in a limo.
Oh, yeah.
great.
Yeah. Is it hard to like make turns and stuff?
It's
Like,
just
is
a
it?
little wider.
Okay. Yeah.
And it wasn't a full stretch.
No, it was.
It was like a limo. It was a limo.
Yeah, it was like a Cadillac limo. I
Yeah, it was
couldn't tell you like
exactly.
what model or anything like that.
Imagine a 90s Cadillac, but with another section, like another seat of chairs in the middle.
It would
Okay.
comfortably. It's designed for like 2 people.
Dude,
but
they
there's
had like 10
bottles.
people in
Yeah,
there.
we had 9 people
bottomed
in
out.
the back.
Did you really bottom
We went
that?
over a bump and bottomed out.
We had 9
funny.
gay dudes in the back, and it was hilarious.
Time. Hell yeah.
And it had the separator where you could automatically bring up like the shader in the glass.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Like
an
in the movies.
intercom. It was a legit limo. It was super fun.
And wait, so one of those couples own that, or
Yeah.
did you rent? Oh, okay.
They own
okay.
a limo.
Nice, man.
And
Man, that's how you know you made it, when you just have a limo towing around. And
definitely.
you just,
dude. That people, they were just being super fun. You know,
Dude, they're balling out.
they're balling out right now.
Then they took us to lunch the next day and got us sushi. Oh,
Ooh, I'm a sucker for
Hank-
sushi too, bro.
Sushi
It
is
was
awesome.
really good.
Yeah.
Dude, that town's pretty sweet. We're
Oh, yeah.
in LaPorte,
Michigan City.
LaPorte,
Wait,
Michigan
wait.
City.
Yeah.
Is that in Michigan? I'm guessing.
It's like
Yeah,
half an
it's
hour
in
from
Indiana.
Chicago.
oh, it's in Indiana.
Yeah.
Where's it at?
It's like half an hour from Chicago.
Is it?
It's on like
Okay.
Michigan, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's why it's called Michigan City.
Oh, okay.
And this Michigan City itself, like the town, at least by the casino, it's kind of rough. But probably around most casinos it is. But like the surrounding towns and where these guys lived, and it seemed like a fun area to live, and had a lake, you know.
It's like it was like older suburban. Like it wasn't like not like what you think of a suburbia, like cookie cutter houses. It was like a Victorian suburbia.
And Frank, I think it's a little farther than that from Chicago, but I'm not.
I
100%
think
sure.
you're right.
Yeah.
But
Let me check.
So it had some culture to it then. Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
it was.
Yeah.
I mean, what we saw of it was all good, and the sushi place was sweet, and I didn't expect that in that small town of LaPorte. My grandmother had my great grandmother had a farm in LaPorte.
Yeah, isn't it?
That's
a
where
half
my
an hour
mom's from.
Chicago?
Grew up.
A half hour, an hour.
Yeah, it's just around the lake. You could probably take a boat there faster than you could drive.
It's probably looks like it's probably about like 3 hours from. Was it about 3 hours?
From here, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's about an hour to Chicago.
It's because
Hour to
of
Chicago.
pesky lake. But still, it's
Damn
it's
lake.
close to Detroit. It's close to Chicago.
So if you just drove through the lake, you'd be good.
Well, there you go. Just drive through the lake.
Dude, the lake was all you could. There was like the little outlets of the lake, going to these big ponds and lake, and you know what I'm talking about.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, like little channels. Yeah,
Exactly.
Dude,
Yeah,
those-
LaPorte was here. So it's just outside. It's just southeast of Michigan City.
So Frank and I drove 100 miles in that limo.
dang.
In that
That's
area,
super fun.
we had so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd
was
be
a good
awesome.
time.
And the casino was hilarious. I'd never been to a casino before. We played some blackjack, and Frank and I were getting made fun of by the people on our table.
Yeah, and then I showed them up.
Well, before
Not
what
really.
were they?
No.
pissing
Just
you
didn't know how to
about?
Dude,
play.
they were just
really.
they were throwing down so much money.
Oh my
That one girl
god!
was throwing like $2,000 on like just a single side bet.
Frank and I go into the casino, and we're like, okay, how much money do you think you're spending? Frank's like, $25 seems reasonable. I'm like, okay, I'm like, all right, sweet, I'll do 50. That's probably enough for like a long time in the casino. I don't know. It was not enough, first of all. And people were throwing around so much money, and they looked so stressed, you know, they looked so rough. It was like just hundreds of dollars wasted, you know, just burnt. But I guess sometimes they must win, otherwise they wouldn't do it. But Jesus Christ, dude.
I mean, you think about the amount of money. I mean, if they're throwing down that much money in a small, Michigan City, Indiana,
The casino
imagine
was
how.
big.
The casino.
Oh,
was pretty
okay,
big.
it was
Yeah.
okay. I was gonna say, imagine what they're throwing down in like Las Vegas. You know, like they're probably
They're making
It's
high roll.
I imagine it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And
They have their tables like where they're high spenders.
I've never really been that much into gambling, to be honest. Like I can't spend my hard-earned money on like lottery
just
tickets or
can't
anything
waste
like
it, dude.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I will say I had a great fucking time losing my $50 because
Yeah,
you win every
yeah.
once in a while.
Yeah,
you know? You're
see,
playing blackjack.
whenever I try to gamble, I don't think I'm going to win money. I think I'm going to have a good time spending this money to have a good time.
And maybe
And maybe I'll win big and,
and
be
that's
like,
fun.
sweet.
It's fun when you win. Every
Yeah.
single time you win a hand, hell yeah, the table
Yeah.
gets all happy. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
sweet. This is fun.
yeah.
You ever play blackjack?
Yeah. Blackjack's super simple. That's why I like playing it. I mean, I can play Texas Hold'em too. I'm just like not much strategy going on.
Screw
there,
the
so.
slot machines though.
Fuck the slot machines, bro.
Seriously.
Some people swear by them. I'm not one of those people. I think it's really
Pure,
silly.
it's just blind luck.
Yeah.
No strategy.
and so
yeah.
is everything. But there you get. It's more interactive, I think, to play blackjack.
No, I think you can put probability into play.
You play your own hand, but
Yeah.
you know, it's definitely better than slot machines as far as that goes.
Well, your odds are more in your favor.
Yeah,
That's
I
why
think
it's
the
more
odds are
entertaining.
but I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe they aren't. I don't know the odds.
I've actually met some guys at school who they gamble on sports as like a job. And
Yeah.
they,
Oh yeah, dude.
yeah.
I gambled on
shit.
sports in college a lot.
Yeah.
I still do.
And he gambles not on like the difference between like two teams playing each other. Like they go down to like, will LeBron James have
Oh, yeah,
more
dude.
or
We did
less
the same shit.
Yeah, like will he
Yeah,
have
yeah.
more than 9 rebounds or less than?
Yeah.
You know,
Bet
it's
on
like
anything.
No shit.
yeah, it's
How
really
much,
cool.
How much do they make out of that?
I don't remember what they
Dude,
were saying.
They
but
only tell about the wins too, man.
yeah,
Because my roommate Jake Smalley, he bets on sports sometimes.
Yeah,
And
he
one
said that.
weekend on a parlay, he made like $300 on $20. You know,
Dude, my roommate from when I was in the dorms was good as shit at gambling.
some
betting
people are
on
better at
sports.
it than others. It's just luck though. You don't know what's gonna happen. It's
Dude, he would
sports.
throw down like hundreds of dollars and just be like, end up earning a lot of money.
It's tough though, man. I don't know. It wouldn't be. It's for me. It's something I stay away from. It's fun
Hard lifestyle.
if you have a bunch of money, maybe, and you don't give a fuck. But I don't know, man.
Dude, speaking of a lot of money, I went to Hotheads today and somebody drove to Hotheads a blacked out Bentley. Like it was like this weird station wagon looking Bentley, all blacked out. I was like, what?
I went to
You know how
Highlights
much
today
those
too. The blacked out Bentleys.
Yeah, dude, Bentleys are like hundreds of $1,000s.
Sometimes people just want some hot hands.
I know. I was
Look at
just
some
like,
Hotheads,
I was
man.
just like, that's a badass car. It was like
bringing the
weird.
rich and poor together. Hotheads.
Yes,
Pay us.
it was a sweet Bentley though.
We know
I
the
was
guy who
jealous.
owns Isles. What's his name, Mr. Miller?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jim.
Jim Miller.
Jim Miller, yeah. That's a nice family right there.
Oh yeah.
I like the Millers
That's a
too.
really nice family. Yeah,
Well, I like giving them my money. That's for sure. They got good
absolutely.
food.
They
bro.
got some good food.
I like that stuff. I like meals that you can eat, like sushi and like Chipotle and Hotheads and stuff like that. So, like you don't feel it sitting in your gut afterwards. Like you can eat it
Not
and just
fast
kind of
food.
Yeah,
it's like, it's
basically.
like
It's more rice,
casual.
less grease.
yeah, exactly.
Man, sushi.
Sushi's-
Slina got that one
pretty
sushi
good.
place. It's
Yeah,
pretty
it's
good.
It's not really
Yeah.
a sushi place though.
No.
No, it's
Yeah.
not. But it has pretty good sushi. It's not like high
But
class, but it's
yeah.
like good to just go and buy some.
Never buy gas station sushi.
I've had some good, decent Kroger sushi.
Kroger
like in
doesn't
Athens.
do too bad. Yeah.
Because we don't really have a sushi
in
spot.
Columbus
so.
did pretty good.
Yeah, I buy Kroger sushi all the time.
Yeah.
They actually have like a sushi stand where they actually will like make it in front of you and stuff sometimes.
But it's not like as good as like that restaurant we were at, bro.
No, dude, that restaurant we went to, the ingredients matter at that point. It's they were using
it's all
high
raw.
quality. Yeah.
You know, so
and he was making them right in front of us too.
Nice.
Yeah. But you cool with ending it there?
Yeah. No.
I'll keep talking to
Dude,
you guys.
no.
All right.
I tell you what, every single time I hear Mitchell Mabry is going to come or he's going to be someplace, I'm like, it's probably going to be a good fucking
Hey,
time.
put it in style. Hell yeah, dude. I think the same about all you guys too, man. Yeah, for
It's
sure.
going to be a chill, fun ass time,
Hell
and I
yeah.
know for sure.
Mitchell, I don't know anyone who doesn't like you. You're well liked by all.
Yeah.
Just like
that.
Coach M always said, we should take a book out of Mitchell's.
That was Janitis.
That was Janitis?
Back in the day. Yeah, dude, basketball
cool.
coaches fucking love my house. That shit was
yeah.
funny. But
Because
yeah.
all you saw was Mitchell just dive, hit the
hard.
floor.
Hard worker,
Yeah.
loyal.
Yeah. It's just weird, man. Like I just I don't know. I do like I know how to have fun, but I just know how to like get down to work too. And it's almost like I don't even have to do it. Like just once I can get in that flow state through working and without even like doing things that I don't like sometimes, you know? Like I can just I don't know. Some people just don't have that, but I don't know. Yeah.
I think it's like a lot of self-discipline. A lot of people just aren't disciplined enough to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't have self-discipline in some other areas. Like my diet's always messed up and stuff, but yeah. Like do you guys eat a lot of fast food? I was going to ask you guys that or no. Like
I eat more now that I'm in Salina and when I travel.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Versus
I eat quite
when I'm
a
at
bit of
school,
fast
I never
food.
eat fast food pretty much.
yeah.
I
don't eat shitty fast food.
I have a
fast
job
food.
and I have a house, so I try to eat really healthy now.
So like what kind of meals do you cook then?
I mean, it's in the mornings I make these like shakes. I put like fruits, put like kale, stuff like that. Some like protein in there, like peanut butter or just protein powder, and I'll have some like eggs just for more protein. Lunch, I usually just I have these like little meals that I can cook up real fast. It has some like chicken or like beef
TV
in
dinner
there or something like it. But it's a little more expensive. It's not great for you, but I'll just throw some stuff. But we cook up like vegetable soup a lot. Oh, Emma
I love
makes it
cooking
good.
pasta. I love cooking pasta.
I like
Yeah.
pasta.
I make
I eat-
pasta
We
and
don't eat very
meatballs.
much. We don't eat very much pasta just because I've heard pasta isn't good.
Yeah,
for
You just got to
But-
buy the right pasta.
Yeah.
Bro,
Pasta is the
all that
exact same
carbs,
as bread.
It's so good.
It's the same as bread.
Oh,
though.
Yeah.
I mean, bread. You got to pick the right bread because bread.
It's exactly the same with everything.
When we're at school, we cook up pasta feast and just feed an army
yeah.
and just sit there all carved out. You know how you feel? It's like,
My mom made some chicken Alfredo for supper today, and that oh man, that stuff was good, man.
Good.
Ooh.
Dude, my mom made pasta all Italian. So
I've
she
just-
was just like, "Oh, you want some spaghetti meatballs?" Like, hell
Do you,
yeah.
do you guys have any like New Year's resolution or anything or no?
Nah.
Yeah. See, I really don't believe in them that
I think
much.
of it as like you just make it a lifestyle.
I'm too much of a hipster. I'm not going to follow. I'm not going to change my life because everyone else is.
Yeah.
But I always have goals, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It should be. If you're gonna do it right now.
Exactly.
Don't wait. Why wait? You're just gonna
But
push it back even more.
It's a good thing that people do it. Like,
Yeah,
it does
it
actually
is.
help
yeah.
some people. And
For sure.
Because some people just need a time, like a starting point. Like,
starting's the hardest part.
Yeah,
for most
exactly.
things.
Yeah.
and that kind of gives them it's like not frowned upon. Because imagine if you go to a gym, say your New Year's resolution is going to the gym, and like if you just started that in June, you're probably not gonna, there's probably just going to be the same exact people that have always been going there for a long time, and so you're like completely you can't hide in the pack. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
now, beginning of the year is the opposite.
I think a lot of the problem with New Year's resolution is that the motivation is extrinsic instead of intrinsic because like
very.
Yeah, that's a good point there, Mitch. Yeah.
Yeah, and like
very right.
you know, it's only a month after January ends. You know, you're not gonna keep on doing that. You know, if you stay with it for longer than a month, that's when it becomes extrinsic or
They say
intrinsic.
intrinsic.
It
Yeah.
takes
But
66
a lot of
days.
people,
form
a lot of
habit.
people are extrinsically motivated. I think I am a lot of times. When I do stuff, most of what I'm doing, maybe not most of it, but a lot of what I do is to impress or for other people, you know, and that's just the way I operate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some
I
people
mean,
can do it. Yeah.
I'm
I don't
partly
care.
I
Really
like
what
to
other
just
people
build
think.
stuff for myself to use too. And like,
Yeah.
I mean, I do
Yeah.
a mix, but there's definitely things in my life that I do for others.
Absolutely.
well, there's arguments out there that anything that you do, like even if you help somebody, like if you help an old lady cross the road, that you are still like your main reason for doing that is like for yourself.
Yeah.
Like so you can feel
Joey,
better
our
for
friend,
yourself.
said that there's no like
well, what would be the
selfish
point
deed or
then?
something like
What would
that.
be the point then? Are you just doing it because you're told to at that point? You want to feel good about yourself. I mean, that's why you want
it's
to
a
do
good
those
thing.
moral rights.
Either way, you're helping someone else.
You are helping.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
And that's why it's
Yeah.
always good.
Yeah.
You feel good. It's because it's like you more like it's a societal norm that this is right. Like,
One of my favorite things in the entire world is having a wholehearted conversation with a random stranger.
Yeah.
Like, oh man,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just got off work and the other day, it was literally like 3 days ago, and I was just waiting at the bus stop because I have to take the bus back to my apartment. And some man just walked up and I had my earbuds in and he said something to me and I'm like, hold on. And I turned him off and he just asked me a simple question. I don't even remember what he asked, but then like we were waiting on the bus and just had like a 15-minute conversation. And after that I went home and I was just like, it just upped my spirits
Your
so
faith
much,
in
man.
humanity was restored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to
And-
talk to as many people as I like when I go get food. I'll even I want to start a conversation just because you get to experience life through somebody else's lenses.
And one thing that he mentioned that I think is honestly pretty true. So he works at a Subway. He was a Subway worker, and he was pretty old. He's probably like 30 or something. And he normally works like downtown Columbus. And he says that he works with a lot of like businessmen. And he says that they are like rude as all hell. Like he hates it. And then
fucking sucks.
They
Yeah.
got to be cutthroat though to be certain industries.
They're stressed out, man.
Yeah. But they said his work moved him like up to the Subway right around campus. And he said that he was amazed with how nice like people my age are. Like they said that they were so much more respectful. And I think that's why that guy was in such a good mood and like kind of came up and talked to me, because you could tell that like just people not giving him shit all day for being out of spinach or whatever it was.
They call it the rat race for a reason, man.
Yeah.
They're always running late. They're busy. They're freaking out.
Maybe it's because they haven't experienced life. They don't see I don't know.
Yeah,
you
get
know what
a
I
little
mean?
lost in the sauce
Yeah.
sometimes, man.
Yeah.
We've all been super busy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not for like, I mean, we're all young. We haven't really done it. Most of us just got out of school or whatever, but
But imagine if your wife's calling you and then you hear the kid crying on the phone or whatever.
Yeah.
and you got to make enough money so you can afford the shit that you couldn't afford.
You have
can
stuff
pay off all the
riding
your
on
house
you.
and whatnot. Yeah,
Yeah. But I do generally think, like, even when I served at Bob Evans for like 3 years, younger kids are generally more respectful. But I mean,
I think it's curiosity
ironic.
too. It's curiosity.
yeah, honestly, yeah.
You know what I
everyone
mean?
always says we're the ones who can't
The shitheads.
communicate and
Yeah.
can't be nice.
No respect and stuff.
I feel like everybody young is like that, just because it's like curiosity. It's like you haven't seen so many faces that they all blend together at that point. Like that's what I feel like a lot of older people are at, is like they think they know someone just because they were like, oh, I've seen someone like this. blah,
Definitely
blah.
some. Get a little stuck
Yeah.
in their ways. And it's important for us as we age to try to stay open-minded.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy with this new decade coming around. I was talking to I think Dussel the other day, and no, Zach, and no, actually it was Dussel, my bad. But I was just like, man, this is the year 2020. Like in this decade, by the end of this decade, I'll be 32. So like more than likely, and then within the next 10 years,
God damn it.
will possibly have like a wife, kids, like all that stuff. Like this is a huge decade for all of us in our
Yeah,
life.
that is true.
So I know you're kind of already breaching into
boy.
that.
The roaring 20s.
Yeah, man. Like the next 10 years are going to be a pivotal point in a lot of our lives.
In everyone's life, man.
Yeah, it's
For us, definitely 20s are so pivotal. You really design the rest of your life based on your 20s, I feel like.
yeah.
So let us all
Cheers to the 2020s.
Yeah, cheers to 2020s.
For sure, man.
2020s.
I feel good about it, man. I'm optimistic
What
about
a time
this
to be
year.
alive.
Yeah, honestly, man.
We're gonna do
Yeah.
this
Time to be
podcast 10
alive.
years from now. We're all gonna be like, fuck, the last 10 years. That literally was the best time of my life.
Oh my god. Thank God I'm not 23 again.
So naive.
Probably. That's what my
That's
sister
funny.
said, man.
Really? Yeah.
Megan, we got a heart to heart. She came home for the holidays. She lives in New Orleans. She shoots movies and stuff. So living like the life of a starting artist like the best she can. And that's what she said. She said, Hank, you just don't know yet. and I hope she's wrong. You know, I feel like we've all been through some shit, or I've been through some shit where my life, my perspective might be a little different.
A scapegoat. Everyone has their own experiences.
It might be, but it's like, I don't know. Am I that far off from reality with my hopes and dreams, my ideal vision for the future? I hope not,
dude.
Because it's looking good for my brain.
Yeah, and you keep it that way, man. Because a lot of that stuff is just your all perspective and your mindset.
How much you want it. It's how hungry you are for that vision.
Yeah.
Keep the curiosity. All right, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, do you guys believe happiness is a choice?
To some level, man.
Some level, yeah.
I think. Well, go ahead.
I've been in a bad place before, and the way that I got out of it was I literally sat down and I just wrote everything good. I didn't, to the point where all I was thinking about was all these good things. I filled out like 3 or 4 pages, and I got on the 5th, and I just kept going, all these good things. And by the end of it, I was like, man, why am I so bummed all the time? Look at all this good stuff happening. And for me, that was like a pivotal point where I finally felt like I was out of it, you know?
Just appreciation for what you have, basically.
Yeah. I mean, just on that alone, look where we're at. I mean,
just like how you journal. Like you can write down everything good, everything going on. And you're like, oh, it's actually going decently well.
I feel like to some extent you can control your thoughts.
Yeah. I've kind of gotten out of chasing happiness because I feel like happiness is really short term. Like I've started to chase the things that make me joyful. Like, you know what, like it's one of those things where it's like joy is like you're doing something and the time's passing by. It's like your flow state, but it's like you like it. You really enjoy it. And it's not just making you happy. It's not just like spending time with someone. It's like you're doing this because you are driven by it. That's where I've started to really chase after that, like joy. Joy of doing something.
Yeah. Because not all moments are going to be happy.
Yeah, it makes sense. Well,
but alrighty,
Mitchell Mabry.
It's a pleasure having you.
It's been a pleasure, man. Honestly, awesome. I've had a great time. Thank you, Frick, for setting all this up, showing me hospitality.
No doubt.
Stolly, thanks, and Stolly and Hank, both of you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, it's mutual.
Take a page out of Mitch's book, ladies and gentlemen.
Mitchell, do you want to give out any shout outs?
I want to thank my mom. I want to thank my. You want to buy my mixtape?
Yeah. Not really. I want to shout out all my friends and family for creating a loving environment for me and letting me thrive. So yeah,
all right,
there we go.
Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.
Peace.
Sleep.